everyone. Welcome to the Rooster Teeth podcast. This week brought to you by I'm Gus.
I'm Miles.
I'm Ellie.
And I'm Becca.
And I'm Gus. So we got a lot. I feel like we have a lot of stuff to talk about today.
A lot of things going on.
Hopefully.
a lot of
Otherwise,
things-
this will be really shitty.
A lot of things going on.
We're just a lot of us twiddling our thumbs like, so.
That weather.
How have you been?
Is everything okay with you? What are you up to? So Apple had their big stupid press
Of course, we're going to
conference
start with this.
today. We have to. They had it on Monday. We used to not be able to talk about it in the podcast because they would have it like the day after the podcast, but they had it today where they announced all the new shit they're working on, which, whatever. But they, I'm a little annoyed at a lot of the things they said. So now they'll sell you a $5,000 monitor that doesn't come with a stand.
Is it intended to be mounted?
You can mount it if you buy the $200 adapter for that.
Oh.
So it's its native state.
If you want the stand, that's another $1,000.
That's level 3. You got to be level 3 to get the stand too.
Can you use it out of the box?
No.
If you have your
Lean
own,
it carefully
prop it?
up against the box.
if you have your own stand,
What the fuck?
Why?
I don't know.
That's
Why-
so...
why
That is a $6,000
Right? Why not just sell a
monitor?
$6,000 monitor?
People
to
just
them?
buy it anyway because it's Apple. It just works.
It's so obnoxious.
It's so stupid. Like we designed this
You
for
could get
pros.
an
Pros don't
incredible
need
TV
stands.
for that price.
Right.
It is a 6K monitor.
But
Right.
like, how much shit are you going to be like? How many people are going to be like, I need this Word document to be in 6K?
And you can rotate it. It's like so you can really get efficient with a Word document.
Oh, yeah.
Please don't say that they're doing like 6K cameras and stuff now because my thing can barely handle 4K.
Oh no, that's what you
chugging
think.
along.
This new computer that they're going to sell you can do 8K.
No.
Oh.
Isn't that like as good as the human eye can see?
Well, what I started wondering is like, who's
looking that up.
trying to watch stuff in 8K? Not everyone even has 4K displays yet.
Yep.
I just got a 4K display like a year and a half ago. Now it's already outdated. They're like, you can stream 6 different 8K uncompressed 8K videos at the same time on this computer. Like, who the fuck is going to be doing that on a 6K display?
I'm upset that the only reason I still have my iPhone, and it's such a stupid thing, I don't want to be the guy that makes text threads green. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, I know.
Like, they have me by the balls with that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy. Nobody, like, you'll be texting a group of people and it's like, oh, we should add Chad to this. Oh, Chad,
Yep.
you done made it green.
Chad is a green dude.
He's a
My
green
brother-in-law was that guy. He like ruined our family thread.
Oh.
Switched, yeah.
Oh, okay. I need to talk about this real quick. So my little brother just recently got
Can
married.
you talk about it?
I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. He doesn't
you're
listen to
gonna get
podcasts.
sick.
Some taboo
No, I don't
juice.
care. I don't care.
Hopefully they're blue.
My mom will probably, I forgot to tell my mom that I'm on. I'll text her later.
She knows.
She probably
Somehow.
does.
She's
Yeah,
like-
Madre Del Luna, she always finds a way.
Someone's probably tweeted her by now.
My brother recently got married. His wife's super awesome. They're all great. I love them both. They're going to be very, very happy together.
But
But my brother made a bold call.
Oh, it was very bold. Everyone that I've sort of surveyed about this incident has been like, wow.
So a few months ago, I decided to start a family text thread. Like it was really, we already had one going, but I finally officially labeled it Family Chat. And since then, like we start using it a lot more. My dad's like, here's a fish I caught. My mom's like, look at the dog. My brother's like, did you see Dragon Ball Z? And everyone's like, no. And it was really cool. So we started talking a lot more. And then like
One day.
there was a fifth member.
Well, so I hear you. I think we were like hanging out and you're in your kitchen and you just go, what? And I was like, what's going on? He had just this look on his face of like, who would dare? I was like, what happened?
Dylan added his wife to the family thread.
well, she's in the family.
She is part of the family. And I would be more than happy to make like big family thread. But I just wasn't prepared. I didn't like, I that just feels like, it just felt like it was like a bit of a breach. Or
Right.
At the very least, if it had been one thing, he was like, hey guys, I want to
you're
add
upset.
Riley to this. We'd be like, yeah.
So
We're welcome her to the family.
It's a blood family thread.
It's a blood family thread. It is an immediate blood family thread. I saw my phone go off and I was so afraid it was my mom.
I know what you said.
So you're right, Gus. I need to make a new thread called Blood Thread. And it'll just be me, my parents, and my brother. But no, it was, if he'd asked, absolutely no problem. Welcome to the family, Riley. We love you. You're great. But it was just the fact that he just made a move and was like, I dare anyone. Now that
No,
she's
that's
in it to
baller.
say
That's,
that.
Yeah.
that's the way to do it.
It was a bold move.
This
Yeah.
was shortly before. This was like a couple of weeks before the wedding.
Yeah.
Oh, before the wedding.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
that's a little different.
Okay.
And then at the wedding, Miles is like, because he didn't talk to his parents about it.
Yeah.
And he decided to bring it up. And all three of them were like, I know, right?
I was like, we were a little surprised.
Oh.
But no.
If my sister added her fiance to our family group chat, he'd just be like, no, I'm good, thanks. No, thanks.
Now, is that like just a British thing or is that just specifically a family thing?
Both, I feel like.
Okay.
He would he wouldn't not want a part of that nonsense. There's no way. It's
like-
basically just us sending pictures of our pets back and forth.
Yeah, that's what we got going on. Or
Yeah.
maybe it'll be like, Grandma sure was crazy today.
What'd she do?
Well,
There's this
no,
whole thing.
I think I'm on your brother's side. I gotta say it's a bold move, but I say he's got to put it out there. He's got to say like, this. She is also family. She has entered the inner circle. Like he's got to make that move to. It's like he's establishing his dominance.
He is. So
Over you guys.
So what I'm hearing is I need to counterattack and start posting stuff that he would really hate for her to find on that thread.
Embarrassing
Add
memories.
me to it.
Now this is the whole thing now. Now we're gonna start it's gonna become a MySpace top 8 of like a chat thread on my fucking phone.
That would be a bolder move, though. I'm going to add my girlfriend in a few years.
What's the most number of people you can have in a thread?
Are you what?
So my family thread, I had to search for it because my brother's wife changed the name of it to Conversations I'm Uncomfortable In.
Yeah!
That's great.
Yes! That's a bold move.
Yeah,
Oh my fuck.
that's great.
Yeah, it's the family is growing. I just didn't get the memo and was caught off guard.
Yeah, I'm a little upset by it.
I understand that. So, well, I'm gonna go back to Apple. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Let's go back.
We were
Yeah.
amongst the many other announcements they made today. You know, they make phones. That's why we're segueing out of this. I'm sure you use an Apple phone. Amongst one of the other main announcements they made today was that they're breaking up iTunes.
Right.
It's like now they're just gonna have Apple Music. They're gonna have Apple Podcasts and Apple TVs. It's like separate apps. iTunes that does everything is gone. Thank God. iTunes was a fucking piece of shit.
It was awful.
But the thing I don't get is their podcast app on the phone fucking sucks.
Awful.
horseshit.
And
So
now,
bad.
And now they're making one for the computer. It's like I hope that they've learned how to do this.
Hey, they probably haven't, Gus. They're
They're
selling you a
probably-
$5,000 monitor with a $1,000 stand.
Why
But
don't they fix that podcast
Why
app?
don't they fix it?
It's so shy.
It's like it's so bad. Other people make successful podcast apps that are better than the built-in one. Like the built-in one is so bad that people go, "There's
Nah.
got to be a better one." Let me go. Let me pay someone 99 cents for a better one. But so it made me start thinking about like the iTunes Music Store. So I started wondering like, I wonder what the first song I ever bought on iTunes was. And actually, I remembered before I looked it up to verify that my memory was correct. But I remember it was it was March 22nd, 2004. It was, I think the iTunes Music Store had just launched not that long before that. And Pepsi was doing a giveaway where like if you bought a Pepsi, you could unscrew the cap and there was like a code for a free iTunes download. So that was my first iTunes purchase was like from a free Pepsi giveaway thing. I downloaded Right There by Chingy.
You had
On March 22nd, 2004.
so you had the option of downloading any song,
Oh.
And you made the
free,
right choice.
even.
I wonder if I still have that on my phone.
Oh my god!
I probably do,
I mean,
right?
You probably
Like,
do. Like you might have to stream it from the
I'm not
cloud.
going to play it. I see someone scrambling. Chingy. There it is.
Oh my god!
The album was called Jackpot.
Wow.
Sure
Embarrassing.
was.
Oh, yeah, it's real embarrassing. Gus.
2004.
Do you know what?
Wow.
Would you know what yours is?
Yeah. So we were talking about this earlier today. And so I looked up, what did I first purchase on Apple's wonderful music service, iTunes? And a lot of things came up. Some of my first purchases, there's Kanye West. You got some Goldfinger, some Bowling for Soup, some Flogging
Oh
Molly.
my god! This is
Some
so early
MXPX.
2000s. Dude, were you 14?
I think so.
Nailed
It
it.
was 2004, then yes, I
there
was
you go.
14.
There you go.
The first song I bought on iTunes, and I wish I was making this up, was Photographed by Nickelback.
Oh my god!
Oh no.
Why, of all the songs ever made, did I buy the memeiest fuck you song, Photographed by Nickelback?
So it's 2004.
I guess so. Yeah, 2004.
Wow.
We
hate myself.
we didn't make great choices. Well, that's permanent. That's on our permanent record with iTunes.
That's the thing. I was always warned about a permanent record.
There
Now
it
I
is.
fucking found
Nickelback
it.
and Shingy.
God damn, dude.
Man. Yes, there it is.
Don't.
Sing it.
Oh my Christ.
We all know it though. We're all feeling
Guess
it.
I think
I remember too, like having the distinct memory of like being on the school bus and thinking, I wonder if I'll think back to this song one day and think back to my childhood. Shut the fuck up, Eric!
Here you are, and you're sharing it with the world. Everyone's gonna know.
Yeah,
Are you
let's
looking
all
back
just
on it
think back to
fondly
my time.
now?
Why were our eyes so red? Oh my God.
I think that's when we were working at the call center when you downloaded that song.
Actually, this was. I remember this particular moment. I was driving to Bernie's house. I had stopped at a convenience store in Buda because we were going to go make Red versus Blue that night. So I had gotten the Pepsi in Buda, and I got to Bernie's house, and I redeemed it at one of the computers in his spare bedroom because we were about to start production that night.
And was everyone like, yeah, Chingy, good one, Gus?
Oh man, I don't
Wow.
know. I have no idea.
That's so
I'm
funny.
embarrassed, and I'm sharing my embarrassment
I'm
with
embarrassed.
the world.
We can do it together.
I'll admit it. You want to hold hands?
You want to make a text thread about it?
Yeah. Bad music. Bad music. 2004. Oh yeah, I like that. You can look back and see all of that stuff, all your history.
I think I looked mine up earlier today, and it's not that bad. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. It's "There Goes the Fear" by Doves.
I don't know that
I
one.
don't know
That's a
that.
good song.
Yeah.
I think it's probably on like the OC or something, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so deep. I'm gonna download that and cry to it.
Yeah,
Probably what I was
mine was
feeling
Fiona
then.
Apple, but it was in like 2009. And that was because I was driving. I really wanted to hear it, and it wasn't on my iPod, so I had to buy it
There you go.
while I was driving.
Someone in chat, who's this? I am Dragon. I guess realized that you worked at the call center. I guess.
Oh, yeah.
We never talked about that you worked at the call center as well.
I feel like we have,
Okay.
in case it hasn't been beaten into your head. I'm old school.
Yeah. I replied also in chat. Let him know. Many memories in that call center.
Yes.
Long time ago, way down in South Austin. Did you work there in the old original building, or like in the other one when they moved?
I think the other one after we moved, like the Montopolis, the Wendy's one.
Okay, yeah, that was we started. I don't know if I started at the other one and then moved over to the other one by the Wendy's.
Yeah, I think when I started, y'all had fairly recently moved. It was
still new.
It was pretty empty and very new.
I went back for a little while and I worked at the call center a second time. Like after I quit my pre-Rooster Teeth job, I had quit it and I was going to move back to Puerto Rico. I went back and worked at the call center for a little while. I remember they needed help setting up something technical. They were like, "Oh, can you come back and do this?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I know how to do that. I've done that a million times." No, I've never done it before.
No idea.
I got there and like I spent half the day on Google, like, how do you do this?
When we went out to do all the Full Sail stuff, like I got asked to like, well, maybe this is something else. Recently, I got asked to hold a camera and like do something with it, and I was like, oh yeah, I went to school for this. I obviously know how to work this machine. And it was like, you'd handed me the most confusing piece of abstract art ever. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do with this. I don't know what any of these knobbies do, and I'm afraid of holding it. Please take it.
So I hate that feeling because I'm like, oh my God, I'm my mom. It happened. Like there's this moment where you're like, I'm full. No more info. I've set
how
my standards. Here they are.
That's how I feel about TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't.
But it's like if you were like a TikTok wizard
can't do
like
it.
5 years ago, and then someone's like, hey, you want to TikTok again? And you were like, yeah. And then you couldn't remember, do I talk or tick
But
first?
it's a different app at this point, right? Like that's like
Yeah.
saying like you were a hipstamatic wizard, and now
fair,
someone
fair,
handed
fair.
you TikTok.
It's just like, I felt bad because I was like, I paid so much money to go to school how to use this device and all devices like it, and I can't anymore.
I think I look up the technique on Premiere once a week, the same one. I learn the same thing every week because I go to do it again and I'm like, how do I do that?
With me, I forget how to enable multicam editing about once every 6 months, or like anytime they
And you'll be
update
like,
Premiere and it's like,
and now
oh, the button got moved. How do I toggle it so I can see all the preview windows at once?
sometimes I just wait to see if like muscle memory will kick in. I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna like trick myself into remembering how to do it. So I'm just like playing with like moving things around in the project, and I'm like, and now, no, it's still I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I hate that. I recently started watching a TV or a Japanese TV show on Netflix. And I found it because Esther texted me one day. She's like, "Hey, have you ever heard of this TV show?" And I was like, "No, I've never heard of that." And she said, "It's really difficult to describe, so I'm just going to wait for you to come home and you can just watch the first episode." I said, "Okay." The name of the show is Hyper Hard Boiled Gourmet Report.
We watched it.
Yeah. And so you start watching it, and it's like a food show where you think about like No Reservations, like an Anthony Bourdain kind of show where someone's going around to like different parts of the world and looking at food. But the premise is like they have like a bunch of crazy motion graphics at the beginning, and one of the graphics says like, "What do badasses eat?" So it's like they go and talk to people that you might be scared of.
Yeah.
And you might not want to normally talk to, and ask them like, "What are you gonna eat today?"
Yeah. The whole thing's like very punk rock, kind of like lo-fi, behind the curtain. Like it's not intended to look super well produced or anything like that.
It's like it seems like it's a guy with a camera who just like
It really
goes to
does
different
seem like
places.
that. And they call in, they have, like with a lot of Japanese shows, they'll bring in someone to do commentary over the footage. They have like a little circle for him. But essentially like the premise of the show, like the whole idea behind it is to live is to eat. So every single person living today has to be eating something to continue to live. Who do you not think about? Like people that have to like go and sell their body to pay for one meal. What is their life like? Like they go to Liberia.
The first episode is in Liberia, and they talk.
Spoilers.
Yeah, they talk to former child soldiers who
Used to eat people.
who used to eat people during the Liberian Civil War, and there's like 900 of them that live in a graveyard.
Yeah.
They literally sleep in tombs with bones, and it's like
Smoking crack. And,
doing drugs, and the guy with the camera goes in and is just like, "Hey, what are you guys eating? What are you gonna eat?"
Wow.
And
His interpreter too that brings him there is like, hey, so yeah, this is where all the ex-child soldiers
scary.
live. I am personally not super comfortable going into it. But the guy's like, well, can we go talk to him? He's like, yeah, okay. And a few of the guys come out and they start talking, but then it starts making a scene. And then like dozens of people start coming out of the cemetery. And now it's like, the guy's like, I think we should go. And all the like ex-soldiers are like, no, come on in.
They're
come
like
on in. No, you're
grabbing
with
at
us."
him, pulling
and
him in.
Some people are like, it's cool, they're with us. And other people are like, no, fuck these guys. Get these guys out of here. I don't want them anywhere near me. Put that camera down, you fucking idiot. I'll kill you. And the guy's just like, thank you.
Sorry.
I don't speak much English. Thank
It's just
you.
like a little like timid Japanese guy.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's what's crazy about it is that like they go into all these situations, and at first these people are obviously trying to like they think that they're trying to find out like what they do or like stuff about like whatever like criminal or weird activity they're involved in. As soon as he goes, this is a food show, they're like, oh yeah, come in, let me show you what food I ate. Like
wild.
it's crazy. Like like the mafia, the Thai.
Oh, and in the
Taiwan
first episode, they
mafia.
also like have a meal with the head of the Taiwanese mafia.
And it's just because they're like, this is about food. We just want to see what food you guys eat. They're like, yeah, sure, sit down, whatever.
Yeah, and they're like, don't talk to don't talk to them, don't ask them any questions. And then immediately it's like, hey, so have you ever killed anyone?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like the guy, it's like they're in there and it's like there's like a circular table where all the mafia bosses are there just like eating shark fin soup and shit. And then the mob boss is just like, hey, come sit by me. And they're like, okay. And it's like, dude, and it's super sly too. They're like, have you ever killed anybody? And he goes, I don't know. I mean, just look
No
me
one
up
who
on the
didn't
internet.
deserve it.
Well, first he avoids
Yeah.
it. He says, look me up on the internet. And then they go, yeah, what was it? It's like, do you regret doing anything? He says like, I don't regret anything I do.
Yeah, he says, what do you say that
He
appreciates respect the most?
that was the last thing. He's like, what do you appreciate most? And he just looks and he goes, respect. Brotherly respect.
And then it's like the
And then it's
interview
like,
was
that's the end of the
the
interview.
interview was ended
my
right
God.
here.
I'm like, okay.
It's like, when I first started watching it, the first few minutes, I was like, oh, this is a really cool concept. And by the end of that episode, I was like, I'm an ungrateful piece of shit. This is amazing and everyone needs to watch this.
Yeah, and it's like every episode is like that. The second episode, he goes to South Central LA and like goes
Florencia 13.
talks to like one gang, the Florencia 13, then like goes down a mile and a half down the road and talks to their rival gang, and it's like,
Crips.
yeah, what are you all eating? What are you all eating? And every episode is like that. It's just like absolute insanity. Like people you would never think that. Spoiler, in the last episode, they wait outside of a prison and they're like, we're gonna find someone who's just getting out of prison, and we're asking, what's the first thing you're gonna eat now that you're out of prison? And it's like they just wait to talk to people like that.
But like back to your point, what's like so interesting is like, because they use food as essentially to get a foot in of like, hey, we want to talk about what it is you eat. And then as soon as that happens, then like every time they happen to find a more interesting story. And by that point, they've kind of befriended the person. And the person's like, oh, well, yeah, come along with me as I do this thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's so interesting is every time it gets to the point where, okay, and now they're going to eat the meal. Every single person no matter how poor of a situation they're in or what, they always go, would you like to try a bite? And they get like really stoked to be like, yeah, this is my favorite thing to make.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I have today. I'm super happy that I can eat today. Please have some.
Yeah.
And it's just, man, it's a trip.
And the food looks good. I mean, it's like some of it's like, oh, I have no idea what that would taste like. 'Cause I've never eaten anything like that before, but it looks good. I would try that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wild show.
Yeah, dude.
There's only 5 episodes.
All right.
Hyper
Hard-boiled
hard-boiled gourmet report.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. That and Chernobyl. If you just want to feel bad all the time.
There's a Russian episode of Hyper Hard-Boiled Gourmet Report.
Yes!
Episode 3, I think. I think episode
hell
3 is in
yeah.
Russia.
We should watch more tonight.
Sure.
And they're like 30 to 40 minute long episodes. They're not like super long. So I don't know if there's more. I wish I knew more about the show. I wish I knew if they're still making it. Will I ever be able to watch anymore?
The reactions of the guy doing the commentary is amazing. He's just like, "What are you doing? Don't do that! No, don't go in there."
Yeah, and you always see his face in the corner. He's like grimacing or like, oh. So it's so good. I cannot recommend that show enough.
Yeah, it's really
I'm
good stuff.
so behind on so much TV.
Yeah.
Like, we're about to cancel our TV service because we're moving. And I'm like, don't, hold off. I need to clear out the DVR. But I'm too far gone.
Just you got to start binging it.
Yeah, I can't. Like, anytime I sit down, I get 5 minutes in and some life happens. Kids wake up or something. Who knows?
Yeah, that's the worst. Whenever you have to like unplug your DVR or move or something, it's like there's a lot on here I haven't gotten to
lose
yet.
it when you unplug
Well,
it?
it's like what are you going to do with it?
Well, I guess if you're switching to like a new service or whatever.
Yeah. So we're going to live in a temporary space for like a year. And so they have their own service that we're using.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that's even worse because it's not like you're keeping your service; you're sending the shit back.
Yep.
It's like all your hopes and dreams. Like I had so many big plans for you.
I'm sure there's some way to transfer it to a hard drive or something. Some very
I'm sure that
way.
they make that as difficult as possible.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not easy for some reason. I'm going to say. Here, let me read this thing over here. I want to remind everyone this episode of the Rooster Teeth podcast is brought to you by DNA and genetics is wild.
Yeah.
There's this new, relatively new gene editing technique called CRISPR.
What?
Have you not heard of CRISPR?
No.
CRISPR
Pretty
is
crazy.
terrifying. So basically,
They crisp you.
a very simplified explanation is it's a protein that can travel down DNA, unzip it, and then remove or insert markers as needed, and then rezip it.
That's some Bioshock shit.
Yeah. And in 2018, a scientist in China said that he had used CRISPR effectively on a set of twins.
I do know this story. Okay, I didn't realize it was part of this CRISPR thing.
And he had used CRISPR to make them immune to HIV. He had like deactivated a sequence of their DNA and said, these twins who have now been born are immune to HIV. But what I guess was just learned was that I'm pulling up the story here. I read something about it today that we don't fully understand the implications of that. And what people are starting to realize is that people who have that gene, it's a CCR5 gene, people who have that gene disabled like those girls do, or like the twins do, they tend to die 20% faster than the average population.
Wow.
Cool.
And the theory is that HIV doesn't affect them, but their immune system is less effective overall in fighting off other disease.
Interesting.
So it's like, you can like affect one little thing, but then you don't know all the other switches that affect.
Do you know what's so weird about that? That's some fucking video game logic. Like whenever you build a character, it's like you can have this buff, but it's gonna come with this like negative aspect too.
You only
That's
have
really
so many
weird.
like gene points to go
Right.
around.
Yeah. what?
That's wild.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. This may be because people with the CCR5 mutation appear to be more susceptible to illness, like West Nile virus or influenza.
Interesting.
According to the report, mutations similar to those he created shortened people's lives by an average of 1.9 years.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah, that's not
fine.
that bad.
I thought you said 20%.
Earlier, blah, blah, blah.
I guess
When they
if
matched the
it's
DNA
20
with death records, they discovered that people with 2 non-working CCR5 genes passed away 20% faster than the rest of the sample population.
So if you get 2 of them,
Yeah.
it's bad news.
Yeah.
Dang, dude.
You don't want to get the flu.
Have y'all seen 3 Identical Strangers?
No.
The
Yes.
documentary.
I thought you just meant in the
Yeah.
wild. oh my god.
is that?
So it's a documentary about 3 identical brothers, triplets, who were separated at birth, each adopted out to 3 different families.
Wow.
And they just happened upon one another when they went off to college. Like one guy went to a college and everyone was like, "Hey, Eddie, welcome back." And the guy's like, "I'm John, who?" And so they pieced them all together.
That's crazy.
And then, so initially, all the media reported as like identical twin brothers who found each other. And they were on the front page of some local newspaper. And someone called the third one and was like, "You've got to get this newspaper, like, or turn on the news or whatever."
Yeah, I
They
think the
all
two
lived-
were in upstate New York, and then the one was like in Staten Island or
Yeah,
something.
they all lived like fairly close to one another, but in really dense population areas. And so, yeah, when they were like 20, 21 years old, they all reunited, and it all seemed pretty innocent. But then there's a really big twist where they discover basically they were part of a social experiment where they were intentionally adopted out to like 3 varying like demographic families. Like one was really affluent, one was, you know, blue collar but very loving, and one was like really poor and loving and like.
Wait, so like the mom just get like a bunch of like science money?
No, she didn't know.
Some, like,
weird
She handed him over
CIA
to an
shit.
adoption agency, and the adoption agency was working with a university or a research facility. And
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Like
so-
a very cool
so
story.
yeah, it's super unethical, and I believe, if I remember right, a lot of the files are still sealed.
they're still sealed. They'll be unsealed like a year after like it's possible for them to be alive. Like
Whoa.
basically it's guaranteeing these brothers are dead. And they're at some university.
I want to say,
Harvard?
it was Harvard.
Yeah.
but
That's
maybe
like some
MIT.
Truman Show stuff. They probably all like someone watching.
Well, how it got really dark is one of them committed suicide.
Oh.
And it's like, why was it him? And it's basically like his life and the life they forced upon him was the wrong combination, and it
Damn.
ultimately killed him. Yeah. And,
Damn.
but they also said that there are multiple sets of twins and triplets who to this day still don't know that they have.
Yeah, because they
identical
can't
matches out
access
there.
the records from that agency, so they don't know.
Oh, it wasn't just them. It, was
wasn't
like a
just
whole
them.
study.
Yeah.
they don't know. I think if I remember right, because I saw it a while ago, they don't know who started the research either. Like, there's a lot of things that are still unknown and questionable. Like, and it happened so long ago that there was only like one woman who worked in the building that they could talk to.
She's like,
And
I'm going through a tunnel. So sorry, I can't hear
Well,
you.
she was like the assistant of one of the doctors who came up with the idea for the program.
Shit. I just
Oh
imagine
my
the
God.
bad guy from Stranger
Yeah.
Things.
That's what I was
Totally.
thinking. Or like Hap from the OA. I have a plan. That is crazy. Yeah. That's some super evil villain stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Do you think he just like swishes his lab coat around like, yeah.
What we're doing is for the greater good. If he didn't say greater good, at least, or she,
Yeah,
if they
it's
didn't say
biases.
greater good at least one point in their lives.
It was the 50s.
Okay. Hey, if that white man didn't at least once say we're doing this for the greater good, he was doing a bad job of being a villain.
Yeah, it's weird to think that for them, like there was someone else out there who was essentially them, you know, a sibling that's your identical.
They have the same
Twin.
DNA.
Yeah,
Wild.
100% the same.
Well, I mean, I recently found out that there's a Spanish boy band member that I
Oh
think is
my
my long
gosh.
lost relative. Did you see this?
Yeah, DC Goliath in chat just brought it up right as you said it at the same time.
What was that guy's name? You have to guys have to
I
grab
don't
a
remember. We
photo.
talked about it on Always Open, but my brother and his wife, who's now part of my family thread, when they went to Costa Rica for their honeymoon, they just had some Spanish music videos playing on the TV, and then this dude popped up, and they're like, "What the shit?" and immediately took a picture and sent it to me.
It's pretty freaky. Like
It made you extremely
I don't
uncomfortable.
like it at all. No, but I did like when he messaged you and was like, "I see it."
Wait, so you
The guy
made contact?
reached out to me
Responded
on
on
Twitter,
Twitter.
and he just responded, "I see it." I responded,
Wow.
hermano. But no, my brother texted me. He goes, "I need you to." What was it? It was like, "I need you to send me a picture of your face, looking kind of concerned, but in a sexy way." And then immediately followed that with, "Please don't ask me why. Just do it."
Just do it.
It was like he's like, "I need you to look like you're about to give someone bad news."
Oh, that's what it was.
but kind of in a sexy way.
Yeah. You have cancer. Yeah, it doesn't
dick
work
is
well.
too
It doesn't
big.
work well.
I'm trying to scroll back through your Twitter to find.
Oh, good luck.
Oh yeah, Jesus Navarro.
That's it.
Navarro.
Jesus Navarro.
Yeah.
It is. It's
He makes me look good.
He's got a good number of followers on Twitter.
More than you? Who's more famous?
Oh, he
Probably
is.
him.
¿Quién es más famoso?
He's got 492,000 Twitter followers.
Damn.
yeah.
Dang.
Have you found like he's like a legit pop star?
What's his name? Jesus
Navarro.
Navarro.
Maybe this is a social sign. There he is. Look at that handsome devil.
At first, I didn't see it, and then the more I look at it,
Yeah.
the more
There's
I
a bunch
see
of
it.
other pictures
It's
of them
it's
too.
here.
It's like, yeah.
It's the furrow.
Can we do a side-by-side comparison? I don't know if we
Can we do argument cam?
Michael's gone. Michael's not here, so I don't think we could do argument, Cam. Very sorry.
wow.
Oh, I didn't see. That's too bad. Michael took that knowledge with him.
It's smart. He job security. He's the only one that knows how.
Yeah. It's my long lost brother. That's a weird
Creepy.
social experiment. What if one guy was
Oh, there we go. They figured it out.
Yay!
Yeah, we can fire Michael now.
Give it the look.
Do the look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Chat's freaking out.
Yeah.
Me gusta.
Yeah, they're. Yeah, chat's into it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm into that.
They agree. I saw. A few weeks ago we talked. We talk about planes all the time,
You do.
and
I was waiting for it.
we talked about how I guess Paul Allen had started a company to make the world's biggest plane, and the thought was that they were going to attach rockets to it so that it could launch vehicles into space.
Okay.
So it's like it does part of the lift, and then satellites can just take off from it.
Sure.
Okay.
They flew it once, and they say it's probably never going to fly again.
Oh,
It's
no.
like, can you imagine? They made the world's biggest plane.
Oh
There it is.
Oh,
God.
there's
So
2 planes.
They would strap a satellite or whatever in the middle, and then release it, and it would take off into space.
I love that, like, the layman's idea for this was like, we got to make the
Ooh.
biggest plane in the world. How do we do it? What if we took one plane and attached it to another
another
plane?
Someone's like-
it's for the greater good.
Yeah, so why are we doing this? Because I want to.
Because I'm
I
incredibly
like
wealthy.
Yeah,
planes.
because Paul Allen was a billionaire. That's what it boils down to.
Because I was bored.
There was a statistic on Reddit the other day where someone said if everyone in the world gave you $10, you would still not have nearly as much money as the richest person in the world.
No. Is that real?
Oh.
They
Yes.
can't. What?
So that's how much. What was Jeff Bezos? Let's see,
Bezos.
Bezos.
He's worth $146 billion.
Oy.
So if everyone in the world gave you a 20, you'd be on Jeff Bezos level.
What the fuck?
That's
I read
really
another thing about
upsetting.
Jeff Bezos that said he's essentially earned $80 a second from the moment he was born.
Wow. Horrible. Have you guys already talked about his like whole "let's go to space" thing, right? Have you?
Maybe?
The keynote that he gave that was like, I am fully aware that the world that I am basically running is gonna die because of the stuff that I'm doing. So let's look at space.
Let's fuck that up.
Seriously, it's like he was like legitimately gave a keynote speech about colonies on space.
I read that. Yeah, he unveiled like his lander for his lunar lander.
Yeah, and everyone was like, "What about like what are you gonna?" And they're just like, "Well, yeah, I'm gonna be up there with my telescope, my poroscope, and I'm gonna look down at all of you guys." And
Yeah,
I'm calling Earth Poor Planet now.
He said that they want to land that thing on the moon by 2024.
Yes.
Which is
Wow, that's
pretty
soon.
fucking soon.
and then he said that Earth would be like a luxury destination, like where you go to college.
What the fucking what?
My parents are sending me to Earth for college. So lame.
I'm going to Earth U.
Wasn't that thing in Futurama like Mars U?
Oh yeah, Mars University.
It's happening for real. Bezos. It's gonna happen.
Will Earth have like a satellite university on the moon that's like not as good as the one on Earth? Like, you know, it's like
State.
it's like colleges will have like their remote locations. It's like, yeah, we got a college over in that town. It's not as good.
Also, then by his own logic, Earth will be like a fireball. So I don't
Yeah,
know, like
where you go,
Right.
And Antarctica.
Yeah, I don't know what it's, but it was like an actual speech that he gave of like, "This is my plan."
I mean, I think that regardless, humans do need to leave Earth just for like redundancy.
just for a bit.
Well, I mean, permanently, right? Like we need to have people who can live independently on another world.
Yeah.
Because inevitably, when we get dinosaur'd on this Earth,
We need
Right.
a raid 2 ecosystem.
yeah, you
We
don't want.
Someone's
dinosaur
gonna be
ourselves.
bad.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
Working on it real hard.
I hear we're gonna dinosaur ourselves by 2023. Get to work, Bezos.
Oh, there was the one thing I did like about the Apple presentation earlier. They showed a trailer for a new project that
Apple World.
that the guy who made Battlestar Galactica is working on, Ronald Moore. I think the name of the series is called For All Mankind. It's like if the Russians had gotten to the moon first instead of the Americans. It's like if the space race hadn't ended. It's like if the Russians got to the moon first and then we just went crazy and we're like,
We're going to fucking Mars.
Right. It's like the race isn't over. That's what there's like a line in the trailer. It's like, we're going to Saturn. We're going to Mars. We're going to go everywhere else. It's like, what if you had just gone crazy, just like
So what if
exploring?
We'll find our own space.
We'll make a new race and we'll win that one.
Double or nothing.
So Russia gets the moon, and it's all just about America's petty reaction.
Right.
God, it is what would have happened, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh no fair! We're going to Mars.
I didn't say go yet. Shit, fuck. My fingers were crossed. Damn it.
Well, I mean, we've talked about this before, but it's like when it comes to space milestones, the Russians did everything first, except for landing on the moon. And then
Well, isn't that the way it
we're
goes?
like,
Right?
we
You're
won.
like, well, we can piggyback on all your hard work.
Like a kid making up the rules to the game as they're playing
That's it. Finished.
I gotta go home now. Sorry. Mom has dinner ready. That's end of the game.
Yeah, like you go to like the Cosmodrome, in Russia, they have statues and plaques commemorating all of their firsts. But they do have a fucking statue of Neil Armstrong. They do concede like he was on the moon first.
Damn.
But
Was he though?
Yes.
It's my favorite one because Americans get so mad at it. I'm always like, "What did you?" But do you think you really did? Because wow, there's some pretty.
We need
pretty
this.
good
Evidence.
to the contrary. So, don't know if you guys
Two
actually
ranks.
did it. And then for some reason, it's like actually to be fair, it's like when people bash the Queen. I'm like, how dare you?
Oh, I would never.
Right. It's the Americans have the same reaction.
think it's
you
the
guys
same-
Are like, yaha!
I feel like it's the same as flat earthers. Like I don't want to acknowledge the possibility.
And yeah,
Ellie.
It's turtles all the way down, man. I'm telling you.
it's turtles all the way to the moon that you guys didn't land on.
How dare you? God. What are like the 5 things that I feel like you could say about like like you could insult America on that will always set everybody off? I feel like it has something to do with like World War II, landing on the moon.
Trump.
Oh,
No.
yeah,
Oh, he's in your country right now.
Oh, I know. I hate it.
She looked at a picture of Trump and the Queen standing next to each other and like physically grimaced.
I saw
I think I just flicked Trump off on my phone.
I saw a
did.
guy under the flight path for the airport Trump was landing on. He mowed his lawn into a big penis.
Yeah.
And wrote,
Says, "Oi, Trump."
Oi, Trump.
Oh my god.
And then they're flying the big baby again. The
baby
big
Trump.
balloon with of Trump
Yeah.
in a diaper with his like little tiny hands. Yeah, he was not happy about it. He was like, "You made me feel really unwelcome last time," and everyone was like, "Good."
Maybe that was the point.
Yeah, I think yes.
That sounds about right.
That's what we tried to do.
There was I saw this video that Vice made where this guy went around and broke dumb British laws in
Oh,
London.
the ones that are like, if you are standing on the border of Wales, you can legally shoot a man with a crossbow. That
Right,
kind of
like all
thing.
the really weird, obscure ones. Like, if you enter Parliament wearing a full suit of armor, you can be beheaded on the spot.
Yeah. I think it's like still technically illegal to eat mince pies on Christmas Day since Oliver Cromwell was in charge when he like banned Christmas.
Okay.
You said so much shit that I didn't understand right now.
I know who Oliver Cromwell is, but for our idiot friend here, can you explain who Oliver Cromwell was?
The guy that chopped off Charles's head? No?
Chop, Charles' head.
Oliver Cromwell he sort of shut down Parliament with an army and killed the king because the king was being a bit mad.
He sounds like a crotchety supporting
Well, it
character
is-
in a Christmas Carol.
It is weird that there is a statue of Oliver Cromwell at Parliament. You'd think that they would be like a bit miffed.
Yeah, you think
Yeah.
we'd also get rid of a lot of Confederate statues too, but hey, what are you gonna do?
If you don't like move them to the White House.
True.
Don't give anybody any
Yeah.
ideas, please.
But then he was sort of like in charge for a while, and he was
like, fuck pie.
Yeah, fuck pie. he was
Like Mrs. Cromwell's like, I made pie again. He was like, fuck, I can't do that.
God damn it,
Pass
Mrs.
along.
Hi, Mrs. Cromwell. I'll learn your name one day. he banned mince pies, which are like the like spiced fruit pies that we have at Christmas.
Oh
He
man,
has
I fucked
some.
this up. I thought it was a meat pie.
So
Yeah,
did
you're right.
I. So
remember,
did
yeah.
I.
Yeah,
I'm like,
no,
we
they're
did
like
that,
worst
that's right.
boys in London.
Spice-
Is that Oliver
Spiced
Cromwell?
fruit.
He looks like he'd get fucking pissed off by pies.
He was like famous for having a painting done of him, and normally all the kings would like make themselves look real pretty in the paintings. But his like famous line was like, "Paint me warts and all," And so he's like,
Oh, yeah, I know that.
do kind of
phrasing.
like that attitude.
that's where warts and all comes from.
He was like #no filter
thought a
before
phrase
that
I
was
am
a thing.
ugly. Do not lie to me.
Do not lie to his legacy.
Yeah, he banned.
Oh, there
there
it
it is. Look at his warts. Gross.
Got a big ass one on his lip.
He banned these little spiced fruit pies because I don't actually think he may have like banned Christmas because he was like a Quaker. Or maybe just
Quakers
making,
do some weird shit.
making stuff
I
up.
thought that was an American thing. I didn't realize you had them too.
Yeah,
Well, I
we had
think
them
that's where we
first,
got them
actually.
from.
Oh yeah, you put them on a boat. Never mind.
Maybe it was a Quaker or just like a. I don't know. I remember. History's gone from my head, but I remembered some of the basics. I'm proud of myself.
I'm proud of you too.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oliver Cromwell.
Yeah.
What a tit.
And then he was dug up after.
What the fuck? This
after-
fucking
It's all
guy.
coming back to me now. After he, like, long after he died, they dug up his body and hung it
Why?
Why?
because he killed the king.
Oh.
So when the monarchy was restored, they were like, we're really not a fan
So
of
they
that.
hanged him after he was dead?
Yeah, they drug up his body and hung it as a symbol of like
Wow.
bad
Like an-
bad
Let
Cromwell.
that be a lesson. If you kill a monarch after you die, we're gonna hang you.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Okay,
That's
where are we
his
looking?
head.
That's his head, huh?
They
Warts and all.
didn't rebury him after they hung him?
I don't know where that is.
Wow.
It's just probably in like the Queen's front room. Hello, Oliver. Yeah.
I'd lay pies down at that statue.
Well, Guy Fawkes, he and Guy Fawkes had pretty grisly ends.
Oh, yeah. Well, we all saw V for Vendetta. We know 100% historical accuracy what the story of Guy Fawkes is.
They burned him in a pile, right?
He was hung, drawn, and quartered. Like legit.
Thinking of that Sherlock episode.
Yeah.
Like, where is that coming from?
It was like it tapped into like a past life. You just section. They were all piled and burned.
This high.
Who am I?
I was
The
there.
smell was nauseating.
Come back to us, Becca.
Becca, 2019. Tune in.
Morgan, she's working.
So I did something dumb as a parent. I did a bad parenting thing. Is that I let my 4-year-old child watch 2 episodes of Game of Thrones this season.
Oh.
Yeah.
So now
Luckily,
she's going to learn really bad storytelling. Well done, Becca.
yeah. Neither of them had sex. They were all just very like graphic, violent. But they were
No
one.
sex, just violence.
One was the finale, and one was the one where
Yeah.
She went crazy.
the big
the burn.
Battle of Winterfell. And so there were critical shows or episodes that I had to watch in the moment, and I could not get rid of her.
Yeah.
And so she watched it. But now she's obsessed with Game of Thrones and like sees them and is like, they all have names. Like Theon was the boy that got stabbed. And
What a wonderful
Spoiler, jeez.
and
That's like the worst like chapter to a Harry Potter
the
book.
boy that got stabbed.
and then Bran is the boy with his eyes rolled back. That's what she calls him.
God, that's like something like a child would say in like a horror movie when they've seen the ghost. Like, who are you playing with, daughter?
The boy.
The boy with the eyes rolled back. Cool, we're
The boy
moving
who
to
got
Delaware.
stabbed.
You remember when Millie was really young? She used to draw Jeff with ghosts all around him.
Bernie told me this story.
Yeah,
That Millie would be like, I don't want to go over to that house. And he'd be like, why not? Because I don't like the man on the ceiling. Like she'd say creepy
Yeah, in fact,
stuff.
Jeff has a tattoo of some of the ghosts on him.
Yeah.
She would call it Daddy and the Ghosts.
Yeah, I agree with the Jesus that
So
just escaped broadcast. What the shit, dude?
I remember that being a whole thing, and I remember Millie's childhood room being decorated with a bunch of skulls, and I think it was like Dia de los Muertos themed a little bit.
That's pretty cool.
And but then Griffin got freaked out by that and told me she removed all the decor, and things chilled out after that point.
Whoa, what the what?
Yeah.
Oh, she was just getting visited by Mama Coco.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
all it was, y'all. It's just Mama Coco.
Unfortunately, it wasn't the Pixar version. It was the Blumhouse version.
Yeah. It was a little different. But yeah.
Jesus, man. Oh, that oogs me out. I don't like I think I've told you about that. Like that's my the concept of ghost fucks me up in a real big way. Not just because of all the existential questions that come along with that, but like I feel like in scary movies there's 3 categories of thing that'll get you. And it's like crazy person, monster or alien, and then ghost. And the first 2 have rules. Like crazy person can't get through a door without axe, or like alien can't get you unless like vents and also afraid of fire. But ghosts are like, it'll only come out on this day. And then in like Act 3, it's like, oh, or fuck that rule. I don't know. It's just here now.
Or
And it's gonna
whenever
like
it
kill
was.
you and just come through walls. And it's just there. And don't ever fucking close the medicine cabinet with a mirror on it. Just don't do that ever. Ghosts fuck me up, man. I don't like it.
Well, it's a good thing they don't exist, so you're safe.
Or do they?
Only on,
fucking
only,
Millie's out
Season
there.
2
They
of
didn't-
Achievement Hunter.
they didn't until Neil Armstrong brought them back from the moon.
Oh shit!
Oh,
We never had ghosts on Earth.
That's how we
Space
got
ghosts.
ghosts.
Ghosts used to go to the moon, and now they can come back. We punched a hole.
formed a
We
channel.
punched a hole through the Earth's protective anti-ghost shield, and now the ghosts all flow back
Yeah.
down.
This is getting dangerously close to the plot of Doom.
And now they're using the hollow Godzilla tubes to get around.
Oh fucking! Let's not talk about New Godzilla.
So good.
It's a movie. It's a film. Godzilla shares in it.
Yeah, he
I got
is
really
in it.
excited about.
I like his
all the
bits.
monsters.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Remember when you said like you just like clutched my arm and when like white knuckles.
Yeah,
when
I'm not
the
gonna
little,
get. It's
the little moth was like, "Hello, I'm so beautiful."
the movie just came out, so I'm not gonna get into spoilers. But if you have watched a bajillion Godzilla movies like I have, there's a lot of really, really great like deep lore Easter eggs in that movie. The unfortunate part is that there's more to the movie. But it's, you'll probably have fun. You can go to that movie, you have a fun time.
The monsters bit's great.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't really care about any of the people.
So when we went, it was me.
Well,
you,
that's kind of sticks to the formula, right? I mean, that's how it should be.
Well, I disagree. Shin Godzilla has arguably more people than there are monster scenes, and yet I think it's one of the best modern Godzilla movies. I think it's great.
Godzilla versus the meetings.
Yeah, it's a movie all about it's in my opinion the best like reimagining you could do of the original
I
Godzilla
did see
movie.
that, yeah.
Yeah, it's the one with the Neon Genesis Evangelion director.
Yeah, and the weird little worm thing.
It starts
Yeah.
off kind of looking
Yeah,
like
yeah,
paying
yeah.
homage to like
This
the old
guy?
Godzilla movies.
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, but then it becomes the scariest Godzilla I've ever seen. It's awesome, and it's on
yeah.
Amazon if you want to watch it. But when we went to see it was you, me, Tyler, and Amanda, and when we got out of that movie, and again, I'm not going to get into like huge spoilers, but they were like, "Oh, like what kind of bad guys do you think could like be in
You
the next
lost
movie?"
your damn mind.
And
is
I
what
was like, they were like, "What are they going to do? Like, are they going to make like robot versions of the monsters?" And I slowly turned to Tyler and go, "There's a thing called Mecha King Ghidorah that you need to learn about." And I just got like, I don't know what happened. It was like when you like warged back to the whatever century and like knew how many bodies there were. Like, I suddenly was like, "Oh yeah, well first Mecha King Ghidorah is pretty cool. He comes, he's got all these robot heads, and every time he does fire, he goes." Like that, and they're like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I was like, "Let me show you 15 YouTube videos." Like,
Yeah.
I went down a weird Godzilla hole.
you tapped into this
Godzilla
like
hole.
part of your part of your soul that had
I
been
like
dormant.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
I want to go home and watch like the old Godzilla movies now, where like Godzilla dances. It's great.
I want to rewatch Shin Godzilla now.
It's so good, man.
There's a lot
It's
of
so
meetings.
good.
It's been a while
A
since
lot
I've
of
seen that.
meetings.
So you were out of town. You just came back. You were a big boy. You did a big boy thing.
I've been all over the place, man. Like right after my brother's wedding, I got to go to Florida for the first time.
For the first time?
Yeah, I'd never been, man.
didn't know
I've
that.
never done like a Disney thing or any of that stuff. It was my first time going to Florida, and I got to go to Full Sail University with Jordan Swears and Chris Kokinos.
Yeah, we had Jordan on, I guess, before y'all went.
Oh wow, I see how it is. But no, it was a really good time. It was cool. So Chris works in our sound department in animation and is just like a fucking wizard. And he was
Literally.
yeah. He does magic, you guys. He does magic. Ask him about it. He'll do it for you.
He's got a great photo. His graduation photo. He looks like a wizard.
He does. He looks like a party wizard. But yeah, no, it was really cool getting to go to his school with him. We had a like student guide with us, and then like a bunch of other people from the Full Sail staff. We essentially got to see their facility, which is like redonkulously cool. They have like a hall dedicated, like in here, all the platinum records that have gone on to be made by people that graduated from here. And I was like, shit, way to flex on me, Full Sail. It's pretty cool. But no, it was really awesome. Everybody there was really, really nice. I was freaking out though, because I had to give the keynote speech there, which you did.
I did last year.
The year before me. And I went back when I was asked to do it, I was like, okay, well, yeah, you know, I could probably do something about like how, I don't know, like failure's necessary. And then I watched your video, and that's literally what you did.
Yeah.
So I cursed your name.
Nailed it. Ahead of my
then-
time.
And then I had to come up with something else. But I was really nervous leading up to it, because I was like, I don't know, like I've spoken in front of people a million times before, but this was something like, oh, I'm going to talk to students at like a establishment for knowledge and learning and have to be inspirational and shit.
Yeah, they're used to learning stuff when someone talks.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I can't give them that. But it went over really well. But leading up to it, I was so positive something was going to go wrong. And I was like, nothing's going to go wrong. And then this poor guy, bless his heart, he was really nice. He gets me, goes, all right, guys, give a round of applause for Mike Luna. And like everybody cracked up.
It's only a letter off.
And then I started talking.
Mile Luna.
Mile.
I started talking,
Luna.
and he goes, "Oh, sorry, that's a false start. Sorry, can we do that one more time?" Miles. And I was like, hey guys, I'm gonna start talking. I goes, oh wait, the live stream isn't going yet. So I had to start 3 times. Finally, it went over great.
By
At
the
the
third
end of
time,
the
there's
speech,
like one guy clapping.
that one guy was Greg Miller, who at the end of the speech said, way to go, Mike! So thanks, Greg. But no, it went over really, really well. It was a really cool time. And then we got to have, whenever you take someone like back to your hometown, like there's the things that you're like, oh, you have to have this.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of pub subs?
No.
Like
Publix?
Publix? Yeah.
Publix subs. Apparently, this is a thing. Like Publix is a grocery store in Florida, and from the moment we touched down, Kokinos was just like, "Oh, we gotta get some pub subs, y'all. These are gonna be the craziest sandwiches you've ever had." It was like all he talked about. Like, dude, we're going back to your college. Like, isn't this important to you? He's like, "Oh yeah, this is great. I'm like incredibly
too.
moved." But pub subs.
But subs from the grocery
It
store.
was a fucking
Calm
good
down.
sandwich. It was a fucking good sandwich.
Well, I feel like I should read this because we're talking about it. This episode of the Rooster Teeth podcast is also brought to you by Full Sail. For the second year, like we just said, we're partnering with Full Sail, and we have some fun collaborations that are coming up. We have an RTAA that the team has been working on that talks about the animation process featuring me, Gus. That RTAA will premiere at RTX, and we're excited to have Full Sail there as well. They'll have a booth on the show floor, sessions on animation, and more interactive sessions all weekend long. Like we said, Jordan, Miles, Chris Kokinos attended Full Sail's Hall of Fame week a couple weeks ago. We just heard about it. It sounds like it was generally a good time. We'll talk a little more about it because I have some questions for you. So how much time did you have to fill during your presentation?
It was an hour-long presentation.
Oh my god.
The gas.
What was
long time.
What was great was like as we were boarding the plane, I was talking. We were filming some B-roll and stuff. We're gonna make like a special video that's gonna come out relatively soon, and so Drew Saplin, who was also there, who helps direct a lot of stuff in live action, great dude. He was like, hey, could you do me a favor and just film stuff whenever you can? I was like, oh yeah, sure. So I was like filming Jordan, filming Chris, all this stuff. And there's one clip, I don't know if it'll end up in the video, where I was like, what are you excited about, Jordan? He goes, oh, dude, honestly, like, I'm excited to see your keynote. Like, you have to talk for 90 minutes. And then there's like a pause behind the camera. I go, I heard it was 60 minutes. And he just goes, that's not what I heard. And then he just left to go board the plane. And I was like,
that's so
wait,
good.
hold on, wait. Like, I immediately was like pulling up emails and freaking out.
That's great.
He fucking always gets
That's
me
perfect.
with that shit. Yeah. He's a schemer, that Jordan. But no,
That's not what I had.
it was a really, really cool trip. We got to see like they have a whole like green screen studio. We got to go to another place where they do like 3D printing and make stuff that's like, I didn't know this was a thing with 3D printing where it's like we're gonna print something that's pretty much already assembled that could not be assembled any other way than us building it already pre-assembled. And the way that they do it is they'll build something and in the gaps they'll fill in the gaps with another material that they'll print that when you put it in water, that material then dissolves. So then now the thing can move and like
That's
do all this
cool.
crazy shit, but it would have been physically impossible to make it without 3D printing. I
Interesting.
did not know that was a thing, and it
That's
blew my fucking
wild.
mind.
Yeah.
It was super cool.
Ooh.
They also have like that building that is a 2-story building that used to be a 1-story building, but they made it 2 stories by digging.
Wait, I don't remember this part of
Wait,
our
so
tour.
they added a basement essentially,
right,
or they
and the basement
lowered the
became-
ground?
The basement became
The first floor?
for the first floor.
So they
It's like they
dug
had-
out the earth around it.
Right. They kept the building and then dug a first floor under it
Why?
Why?
because they figured that it was more cost effective to do it that way versus putting a second floor on top.
I don't understand. 'Cause you're building either way, and if you're digging, you're also paying to dig.
They explained that it was better to do it that way, and I was like, okay, you guys, you guys obviously know what you're doing.
All right.
Is it a construction university?
No, they do
No,
like all sorts
that's
of, like,
where they
media
went
and stuff.
There's just one guy out there with a spade, like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Just build on top.
Why are we doing it this way? It's gonna fall on us.
But it was a mall before, if I remember right.
A one-story mall.
Chris
Yeah.
was like freaking out. Because it's changed a lot since he's been there too. And he was like, what the fuck? That used to be a grocery store. And now it's like the like 3D modeling building or some stuff. Like it was nuts, man.
Grown. Yeah, that place is wild. It's big.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
impressive.
My
Yeah.
university, we had a really big picture of alphabety spaghetti that drunk people would try and make words with. So kind of the same,
Pretty much the same, yeah.
kind of the same facilities.
Yeah, when you think about it, it's almost identical.
It's kind of the same thing.
Identical
Yeah.
strangers.
Just like identical strangers at my 2 universities.
These 2 universities were actually used in a social experiment.
Yes, they were. Everyone at my universities felt like they were in a social experiment.
What?
Well, how many did you go to?
No, every single person at my university.
Oh, okay. Everyone
I was like,
at here.
What's going on with this?
What was so weird about your school?
Well,
All the guys in lab coats was one. That
I think
was kind
maybe
of a tell.
maybe it was just like
One-way
I went
mirrors.
to a school where there were like people who did like nursing and a bunch of like real subjects, and then I did TV production, and we were completely 100% practical course, so I never had an exam throughout my entire time at university. All really had to do.
That doesn't seem normal.
I was like, is this a trick? Am I paying you money for nothing at all? The only reason that I really ever went to university was because they tripled the fees after the year that I went to university.
What?
So my parents were like, if you're gonna go now.
Oh, they let everyone know ahead of time? Like, hey,
Yeah,
you better
next
get
year.
in while the getting's good.
I mean, it's still like nothing on American university prices, but it went from
Yeah, we're the best
3x.
at putting people into debt.
yeah, it went from $3,000 to $9,000 per year.
Stinky.
Yeah.
Woof.
The university I went to recently started. They became a free university.
Rice is free?
Yeah, they let's see, beginning in fall 2019. Middle income families with typical assets will receive grant aid to cover the full tuition if they earn up to $130,000 per year.
That's incredible.
That's crazy.
And then half tuition for families earning between $130,000 to $200,000 a year.
Wow.
It used to be a free university.
I did not know
I
that.
think in the 60s or 70s,
Because
they
it was like,
they
I felt
transitioned
like
to
insanely
charging.
expensive
I feel
when
like
I was
every university
looking
used
at
to be free.
colleges.
Not in America.
No.
And now
free.
they set it up for it's free. It'll be free again hopefully for most people.
Damn, that's awesome.
So my dad went to West Point, which is a free university.
with a big
Some strings.
asterisk.
Yeah. You would then have to repay your 4 years there with 4 years in active duty service.
Oh yeah, West Point Institute. Is that what it's called?
Free.
Yeah, it's actually
Academy
called
is called
United
Academy.
States Military Academy.
Oh, okay, then never mind.
So
I'm thinking of
it's-
something
yeah,
else.
The Army University. But yeah, it's free. It's very competitive.
It just costs you an
And
extra
then-
4 years of your life.
And you do
Damn.
4 years. Yeah.
I think what is
all
it?
of it.
Isn't it only true? It's a very small class size, right?
Yeah, it's super small.
I want to say it's like 100.
Whoa.
Maybe I'm misremembering.
I think it's a good deal more than that. I would probably bet 1,000-ish.
Do you have to just be like really good at army stuff to get in?
No, you have to be very like civic minded and like high performing academically. So I mean, there's a whole nomination and interview process. You have to jump through a ton of hoops to go.
Dang.
You have to get nominated by like one of your
congressman
senators
or
is it
senator?
congressman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Senator recommendation.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
And
like,
knowing my dad,
can I
I
mow
don't.
your
I just
lawn?
don't. I can't believe he ever had his shit together enough to do that. It's incredible.
what do you have to go and like wine and dine the senator as like a small child?
My dad has some compromising photos of him. Yeah.
You stand outside with a boombox.
So yeah, West Point, the United States Military Academy, I should say, has 4,294 cadets.
All right.
So
Yeah. So about 1,000.
that's pretty small.
Wow.
And they're divided into companies. They're like alphabetical, and I think those are about like 20 kids.
Dang.
So I don't know if they're kind of like cohorts or what, but yeah.
I remember I read when I was in high school. I read a biography of Douglas MacArthur, and he went to West Point. And I guess while he was in West Point, his mother rented an apartment across the street
at
from
the
his
Manger
dorm room,
Hotel, I think is what it was called.
so she could watch his room and make sure that he was in there studying and doing what he needed to do.
That is next level helicopter parenting shit. Oh my god.
It's like parenting espionage.
I like the idea for also being like, but you also need to socialize. If you don't get laid this Friday, we're gonna have a stern talking.
The book was called American Caesar, and it was fascinating. It was a really interesting read if you want to know more about someone who wanted to drop nukes on China in 1950s.
How could you not? Dang.
Yeah.
It's a different world back then. I thought about I very briefly thought about going to West Point.
You would have been a prime candidate.
That's the only reason I kneue that you needed a senator recommendation.
Was that the point at you were like,
Well,
not
then I
worth
was like, yeah, but then I'm going to be in the military.
right.
Yeah. My
and I'm
dad.
glad I didn't, because I would have graduated from, if I had followed on time, I would have graduated from West Point in 2000. And hey,
Yeah, there
guess
you
what?
go.
Some shit happened in 2001. Like I would have.
I think my dad was part of one of the only classes that didn't see active combat.
Wow.
He graduated in 77, so he just missed like Vietnam, and then he was like out in the reserves by the time Desert Storm really got in the thick of it. So
Damn, dude.
I think you graduate as, I want to say, a second lieutenant. I want to say is your rank when you leave West Point.
Could be. I know he was some kind of lieutenant. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Also, I would have had to have run. And,
Right.
Oh yeah.
do like physical
Pee and
stuff.
Yeah.
That's gross. Yeah.
And you have zero autonomy.
Yeah.
Like your whole world is planned out for you.
Damn, dude. I graduated high school with like a Letterman jacket.
Did you? And what? What did you?
I got it for reading a lot of books.
You got a Letterman jacket? Why didn't I go to your school? I could have.
Extracurricular was that? What was
No,
it
I
called?
think I got one. It was for like I had a little patch for like a patch for theater, and I had a little patch that was like, what was it? You had to read like a certain amount of books in the library, and then you got it. But
Letterman
like
reading.
essentially the fucking school system was like, well, we'll sell a Letterman jacket to anybody because we love money. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely. You didn't even have to
You
get
just had to do it for 2 years, right? Like
Do what?
to get a Letterman's jacket, you had to do something for
No,
2 years.
you could just buy it. You could just buy a Letterman
Shut up.
jacket. But if you did certain activities, then you get like little patches for it. And I got the one for theater and reading a bunch.
I could have lettered in band.
I was pretty
but I didn't. I
fucking
couldn't.
cool, you guys.
I
You sound
bet.
real cool.
Yeah.
You're talking to the theatre prefect of Kingston Grammar School. So.
Shit, I thought that was only in Harry Potter.
I wasn't just a theatre kid, I was head of the theatre kids.
What does that mean? What was your did you rule with an iron fist or were you like benevolent?
Did you have to make them
Kind
do?
of means that you just get a badge that says prefect,
Yeah?
and then they have to be like, hey, everyone, be on time for rehearsal, please.
Could you make them do Shakespeare on demand?
No, but that would have been really cool.
Give me 3 sonnets right now.
Hamlet, Act 2, C5, now.
So my friend Beth was really annoyed that she didn't get a prefect because I joined the school way later than she did. She's like,
Oh.
this
I
is
love
bullshit.
I could not imagine.
And then we
Beth
had
as prefect.
senior prefects who wore purple robes, and they had to like make sure you're at assembly and shit
Wait, they just wore purple robes like
for
At
like
school, or-
ceremonies.
okay.
Yeah, well, like I went to a school where our teachers would wear the robes.
mm-hmm.
Around just like there's only like really this one history guy would wear them all the time. And we're like,
You thought it was really
okay,
cool.
okay, sir. But all the teachers had to wear their like full black robes for all
the
the
regalia?
assemblies and yeah.
Showing their credentials.
Yeah,
Wow.
they're like with the whatever the colors of whatever they
Did they have like stripes and stuff? or-
yeah, whatever they like graduated from, they had like the special colors on their gowns. And it was very Harry Pottery.
I was a safety patrolman in elementary school.
I 100% believe that.
You get a little neon orange sash and a little gold plastic badge.
How
and your
cute.
job is to walk out to the cars and escort the kindergartners from the car drop-off point to the school. And then at the end of the day, you go where all the students line up and you escort them to their bus. But I got in trouble for abusing my power.
How did you abuse it?
So I found out, well, I was like, well, when I go and so when you're a kid, at least in,
me your
in
money.
Texas, you always want to sit in the back of the bus. Like the back of the bus is the cool place to sit. It's awesome. You get the most air on speed bumps. It's great.
We all know about the back of the bus, Miles.
I all know about the back of the bus.
Everyone knows the back of the bus. Too.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Just making sure.
Even your British friend over there knows.
We have buses.
Double deckers, even.
They sit on the opposite side though.
We all know which part of the bus is the coolest part.
So when I would take, when I would guide like the kindergarten class to their bus, I would take my backpack and the backpack of my buddy, and I'd drop the kids off at their bus. But then on the way back, I'd sneak onto my bus and I'd put our backpacks in the back of the bus so we'd have dibs. And then I'd get off. And then this girl, Whitney, I almost said a very mean word, but I'm not going to do that because we were in elementary school.
Yeah.
But this girl, Whitney, who hated me, tattled on me.
Knock.
And my teacher, Miss Piper, got really upset, and I was put on suspension. I had to
my
turn in my badge for using
Your
it for
badge
my
and your
own
sash?
personal
No,
gain.
you
Give us
should've
your
said-
sash.
You were doing a security inspection of the bus. You wanted
man,
to make
if
sure that it
only.
was safe.
If only. It was pre-TSA, so I mean,
Yeah.
like it was a different time back then. I don't know if I would have flown, but yeah, that was how I got in trouble.
Make sure carbon monoxide levels are within acceptable levels.
I'm doing
I'm
like the
sure
2
they
one. This one's
weren't.
good to go. We're good to go.
You're just like
Heading back.
yay.
I want a juice box and some orange slices.
Stat.
Over.
Stat.
Yeah.
Um,
With great power comes great responsibility.
and you abused it.
I abused the fucking shit out of it.
I made a really stupid purchase the other day.
Go on.
I saw that Pornhub was selling some swim trunks that they marketed as anti-boner swim trunks.
No fucking way.
And
I have so many questions. Can I ask them before you show them to me?
Nope.
Oh, it's too late. I've seen too much.
Wait. What is the system?
That's
Yeah.
the question, isn't it?
Yes.
Have you
Okay.
tested them?
I
And
have
can you
not.
test them for us right
Okay.
now?
I have not.
Get a boner.
So that we can.
Done everything
I have
possible to try
theories.
and get
I
a
have
boner.
theories. I
So
have
you're
theories.
free to handle them. They have not been soiled.
Oh,
Well,
Christ almighty.
They work
Okay.
then.
Is it...
They cost me $69.69, by the way. I want to point that out.
Nice.
Shipping
Okay.
420.
Did... Hell yeah. Did... Okay. My guess would be there's that netting, but it's made of the most abrasive material possible. That's my theory. No, but then you wouldn't want to buy that, would you?
It's a netting, but it just has a picture. Somehow it has a picture of your own grandma.
What if you're into incest guilt porn?
Yeah, oh, well,
Then you're
but
fucked.
then you are fucked. But you're like, I didn't upload that. How do they know?
I'm envisioning some kind of harness. I don't know.
Yeah, like, it's got to be like a compression short type
So
situation.
before I got them, I thought maybe it was like almost like a chastity belt, like some kind of plastic or something
Right,
to,
yeah,
to like keep you down.
Oh, beans.
I can't figure them out.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
What
Oh
I
my
could,
god!
what I speculate is that on the inside, like that they're very loose. On the inside around the dick part, it's very tight and redirects you down.
Okay.
Oh, what?
So
the, oh,
you still get the
wow.
boner.
Hold on, let me just
So
for
it's
the
not
forget
audience.
it,
anti-boner,
but-
it's just boner management.
Post that video.
That's
the
Old
front,
lady.
folks.
Get the boner.
But they still say Pornhub on them.
I know.
Which
I'm
honestly,
really-
I would buy them just for that. That's great. That's just owning
Like,
it.
hey,
still get the boner.
nice
You
Pornhub
just
shorts.
don't
What are
see
those?
it. Well, the boner's
These
inevitable.
are my anti-boner shorts.
These are pretty
They just come
great.
with,
It's
they
more
come
like
with a
boner-
container of
You
saltpeter.
even think about
It's
it.
boner management.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. I'm
Just
trying
like meet a stranger on the beach.
I'm just trying to emulate. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
I feel like these would be huge with 14-year-old boys.
They look like Funhouse swim trunks.
They do.
They do look like
Yeah, they do.
Except from this one key
Well, to be fair,
element.
Funhouse did also once release a shirt that was 100% a parody of the Pornhub logo.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. But Carrie was wearing that shirt one time and got a compliment from like an
think
old
it's a
guy on the
placebo.
street. And Carrie was like, that old guy definitely doesn't know Funhouse. So he does definitely know what it was referencing. Choice. Okay. Man, this is like, if you're listening via audio, you gotta look this shit up. This is some.
I'm like, I don't want to smell. I'm weirdly compelled to smell them.
Why
Smell
are you
it.
do it?
Smell it.
You freak!
Did you stick your tongue out?
I mean, I'm not getting anything here. I mean,
So-
Does it say? Does it,
Hey,
it's
wait
like
a second.
little, like,
Hey, wait.
All I got was a receipt. I thought there would be instructions or an explanation or something. That's just the receipt.
I feel
it
like
looks like the
look
little
this
pocket
up.
that you would have like on boxer briefs, almost like. the
it's like a
little,
reverse of like the little pee-pee hole.
the little pee-pee hole.
Time out. I feel like we've gone off in one direction on this subject, but we've ignored a critical second subject, which is why the fuck did you buy this, Gus? Why did you go, yeah, I need this in my life?
Because we're going to talk about it on the podcast for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, likely story. Story.
Listen, I get the hardest, biggest boners constantly, and I just need something to contain them.
There it is. Thank you.
So
Don't you
veiny
feel
and thick and girthy. And I want to see if this will help me with my
finally
problem.
help you, bring you peace?
I'm trying to look up how these work, and I'm getting censored. My phone's like, no. What are
Don't
you
look
trying to
at
do
that.
on the Rooster Teeth network?
Wait, do we do
Wait, what?
We block?
I don't know. I guess. I
No
just,
fucking way.
I
Not
just
at
put
this company.
Pornhub anti-boner shorts, and it was like, did not match any
The
documents.
shit that I've had to look up to write Tucker's
What?
dialogue, there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
Oh, medium. Nice.
Except in the crotch. So triple X.
Askmen.com.
It's got a nice pocket. Shit, dude. We got to get into the business of making some
I know.
anti-boner shorts.
I'm gonna
We're fucking up.
tear that Pornhub logo off and put a Gus logo. I just got to come up with a Gus logo.
It looks suspiciously like the Pornhub logo.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'll try them on and I'll report back.
Please do. We're on the edge of our
Like I did
seats.
everything I could, and no boner could I get.
Go like high stakes though. Test it out at a Schlitterbahn water park. You go all or nothing.
What? Where there are like a bunch of children?
Yeah, that's if it fails. If that technology fails him, he's gonna be arrested for public
He's gonna
indecency.
he's gonna go straight to jail.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Nathan For You?
Yes, yes. I know exactly. Please.
Have you ever seen Nathan For You? Yeah, you never mind.
I haven't.
You haven't? So it's like this guy, it's a comedian, and the premise of the show is normally he helps struggling businesses by giving them a terrible suggestion on how they can improve their business. But sometimes he does these big spectacular episodes. And one time he did an episode where he wanted to become an escape artist. And he thought he needed to really raise the stakes. And so he decided that the way he was going to do this was he was going to get himself restrained and have to get out of it. But in order to really raise the stakes, he wanted to have a robot come. If he didn't get out within a certain amount of time, a robot would come out and take his pants down. But in order to really raise the stakes, he also had a bunch of school children brought in to watch him do his escape act. And he had a police officer there. So
Ready
that
to arrest him.
if he failed to get himself out before the robot pulled his pants down, he would be arrested for exposing himself to children.
And have to register as a sex offender. There's the video.
And the reason they have to have a robot do it is because if a human did it, then that other human would also be culpable. So they had to develop this robot to pull his pants down.
It's one of the best shows that Comedy Central has ever produced.
So
like
good.
hands down.
No.
I can't believe you've never seen Nathan for You?
No.
Girl, we have so much to watch. Oh my God.
That's great.
It's a fucking wonderful show.
I think they're over. They said they're not doing any more seasons.
Oh.
But
He had a similarly complex stunt in which he tried to smuggle chili into a ball game or
a hockey
a hockey game,
Yeah.
where he had to figure out how to store piping hot chili on his entire person.
He was like sweating.
he was undercutting the chili that they were selling in the stadium. And he was walking up and down the stairs. We're like, hey, you want to buy some chili? You want some chili?
Comes out of his arm sleeve.
Oh my God.
Oh shit.
The show is amazing.
It's a good one, man. It's a fucking good one.
Yeah, there's and again, it's like the Gourmet Report, where it's like you think you're
what
going in
is
this
this
direction. It's
show?
like, oh, we have a much better story that we're gonna follow in this direction instead. And yeah, it just goes off the rails all the time.
There's a great one where he's trying to develop a safe space for children to hang out and play in while their parents fuck in the hotel room. If you don't want to have to get a separate room.
I have seen that one.
Yeah.
He like hires porn
the
stars.
rocket box.
It's a box and designed to make it look like a rocket that has like a TV and like noise deprivation chamber so you can't hear. And then they hired 2 porn stars to just
I thought they hired more than that. Wasn't it a bunch of-
Yeah, like an orgy.
Everybody watch it. So Nathan Report, Nathan for You,
and
Hyper Hard-Boiled Gourmet Report.
Yeah,
Two very different shows. I
Well,
feel like
I think they have more in common than we realize.
it's about the human
Really
condition.
think about it.
it is.
Bingo, there
Yeah,
it is.
that's what it's all about. Let me read this. A reminder: when this episode of Rooster Teeth Podcast is also brought to you by. I read an interesting fact the other day that I'm sure you've seen that people have trained apes to communicate with humans, like by sign language, and you can have like very rudimentary conversations with them. And I think Coco is the most famous example of that.
R.I.P. lipstick.
But what I learned was apes never ask humans questions.
Yeah.
They don't understand that you might have knowledge that they don't have. So they don't know to ask you stuff in order to learn.
But they know to watch to learn.
Sometimes, some do. And it's interesting you say that because someone gave an example. They said if you went up to a gorilla and handed a gorilla a screwdriver, the gorilla would wonder, who is this person? What are they giving me?
Right.
If you handed an orangutan a screwdriver, it would run away with it and figure out how to use it.
Oh, that's so cool.
If you handed a chimpanzee a screwdriver, it would stab you with it.
Yes. Yes, it would. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the different thought process or the different ways that it all works. And it's weird to me to think, and I guess like the analogy is that young children are the same way. Like when you're really, really young,
I stabbed so many people.
really young kids don't understand that they can ask questions or that someone else might know something that they don't know.
I thought Coco
That's like
did
what-
ask a question.
That's why really little kids can't lie because they don't understand that you don't know everything that's not going through their head. But then eventually they make a turn and they realize that they can hide stuff in their head.
That's I could have sworn there was like one instance of like some animal asking a question. But maybe I'm just thinking of like an episode of Futurama or some bullshit. I don't know.
Maybe.
Who's to say?
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I think like questions and like the way that the mind works. Like we're so going back to DNA and genetics. Like we're so similar to apes and primates. It's like, but we can ask questions. Like something happened to us, and we're allowed, or not. We're not allowed. It's like we figured out to ask questions, or
and now we ask questions like,
It's very
what
deeply
do
philosophical.
Yeah.
You get so intelligent that you realize you know nothing.
Yeah. Or you wonder, how can you hide a boner in swim trunks?
And there it is.
So
And there
I
it
read
is.
an article. It's a largely the fabric has a lot to do with it. It's a dark fabric that I guess is kind of thick
and not
so
sexy.
that won't show lumps.
Oh.
He's just digging
know.
into it.
It's an illusion, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Oh, look. It's on the inside, too.
Oh,
It's like a separate layer.
oh. This is just a mystery.
So I
wrapped
think
in
there's
an
like
enigma.
shorts with just like a compression layer inside of them. That's like, don't you do it.
Don't even think.
Don't
about
even think about it.
Think about the embarrassment.
I think it's partly placebo.
I can't get a boner. Oh no!
No, I'm wearing secret special shorts.
This is like drinking Michael's secret stuff against the Monstars. It's just water, kids.
I don't get that reference at all.
It's okay. You weren't a child in the '90s.
Apparently not. I missed a lot, I guess.
It's only Space
No.
Jam. You're not missing that
Oh,
much.
I never saw Space Jam.
Yeah.
wow.
Me neither. Yeah.
It was technically a movie.
They're making another one, aren't they?
I think
Yes.
so.
Are there just like no new ideas anymore?
Oh, absolutely none.
No.
No, you can't do that. That's against the law.
I saw the trailer for the new Chucky movie and was like, come on, why? We had a Chucky movie.
We had several of them.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
We did it.
There was if you look at, we talk about this every now and then on the podcast, but if you look at like the highest grossing movies of all time worldwide, I think out of the top 10, the only original IP is Avatar.
Really?
So it's like you can give Avatar
They're all remakes?
shit for being forgettable. Like people joke about it all the time, but at least it was like an original IP in this list. It's Titanic,
Original.
right? Titanic. I'm sorry, Avatar, Avengers Endgame, Titanic, which it was original, but based
Yeah.
on a true story.
James Cameron has 2 of those
Right.
already.
Yeah.
Star Wars: The Force Awakens, Avengers: Infinity War, Jurassic World.
That one
Marvel's-
is real.
Marvel's The Avengers, Furious 7, Avengers: Age of Ultron, Black Panther.
Jeez. I've seen very few of those.
The freakier thing is when you realize how many of those are owned by Disney now.
Yeah.
That's the thing that scares the shit out of me.
Let's see, all of them.
Not
No,
all
no.
of them.
Not Titanic.
Universal.
Furious.
Titanic is Paramount. Yeah. Who's Paramount? Is Paramount Paramount?
I think
Paramount's
they're still Paramount.
Is it Paramount?
Because Fox is Disney.
I think it's
Right.
Marvel's Disney.
Avatar is Disney.
It's
Is it-
Fox.
oh,
which is
which
Disney.
is now Disney. Yeah. Everybody was like, oh, yeah, now they're going to have the mutants in the cinematic universe. And I was like, yeah, and the fucking Mouse Kingdom gets stronger. You fools. We have to fight the North together.
You lost me.
Winter is coming. I'm just terrified of Disney, okay?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I've never been to a Disney park before and I haven't been like brainwashed into like the magical kingdom.
The happiest place on earth.
Fuck that. Disney freaks me out, man.
But they do a lot of things very efficiently. Like when I was heading up events, I was like doing RTX planning. I would, when we would sit down, we'd think like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to move people? How are we going to build this thing? I would always think like, how would Disney do this? Like if I was going to a Disney park and I was going to go to this attraction, what would I see along the way? Or I think about like Universal Studios. I think about like those big theme parks. Like how do they do it? How do they entertain people in line? How do they, draw your eye over here or over there and force you to look at certain things? They're very good at that.
Yeah, that's why we're gonna have some life-size Blaine costumes. We're gonna have a Mariel costume. You can take pictures with them. Announcing it right here. It's gonna be there. It's not. Don't hold us to that.
What are you doing at RTX that will be there that you can talk about?
Well, yeah. So we're gonna be doing. There's all that Full Sail stuff. We're doing the animation festival again, which I'm super stoked about. That's always a good time because it's an excuse to get in front of a group of people in my pajamas and eat cereal and watch cartoons. We're doing another. I think we're doing another intern panel, a writing panel, Red versus Blue, Ruby, Camp.
You're pretty busy.
I'm always busy, man. It's a lot. I think I'm doing less than I did last year, though.
Are you busy? Are you doing a lot, Ellie?
I'm actually not going to be
Oh,
there
you're not gonna
this
be here,
year.
that's right. I
My
forgot.
sister is getting married at the same time as RTX, so
right.
couldn't miss
It's a
that.
convenient excuse. Did you offer her to get married at RTX?
Oh man, you know what? I feel like she would really have gone for that over like an English countryside wedding. I was like, or a convention hall.
Hear me out. Texas is hot,
Yeah.
but there's air conditioning at the convention center.
Oh, nice.
Never thought about that.
No, yeah, my sister's getting
I just
married.
wrote
so-
an RTX ad for the radio with that exact Logic.
You stole
me
her
out.
copy.
Hear me out. Texas is hot.
I used to joke that for efficiency purposes, the convention center like always has their air conditioning system set to a certain temperature, and they have to run it 24 hours a day. Because if they like turn it down, then turn it up, like it just ends up using more
it's a lot
electricity.
to-
So then, like I would joke when we were doing sales deals in the early days of RTX that like it's written into the contract that we're going to run the air conditioner at 72 degrees or whatever it was, like 24 hours a day just to keep it cool. It's like they're doing that anyway. I didn't do anything. Like, that's what they fucking do. It's like
It's fucking clever.
it's like just like a talking point. Like, oh yeah, it's gonna be.
Oh,
it'll
for
definitely be super cool.
Oh, for
You're
sure.
gonna be comfortable when you're not outside.
Yeah. What about you, Becca? What are you looking forward to at the show this year?
I actually think I'm going to have a pretty chill RTX. Like, I'm not on any panels, and I'm just doing one signing on Friday. So I'm going to be able to just kind of hang out and walk around and go to some panels. Yeah. And so it's nice, too. Like, last year, I had a 2-month-old baby and tried to do stuff, and that was just very, very stressful. So this year, like, they'll be in daycare on Friday, and I can just enjoy myself. So, yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah, I have a pretty chill schedule too. I'm suspicious of it. Yeah, that's why you were saying
Must
yours.
be
And I was like,
nice.
I'm not doing that. And I was like, I'm more on the Becca side of things. Like, anytime someone comes through now, like black people are doing last minute planning. Like, hey, can you do this? Like, yes, I'll do that. Like, I'm just trying to get in anything I can.
God, I just realized normally I try and get a hotel room so I can just be right there, and I haven't done that yet. Shit.
Ooh.
Beans. Hey, I know what I'm doing immediately after this show. Just trying to figure some things out.
I can
Woof.
get you a good deal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
As long as they're running the air conditioning at 70 degrees the entire time.
I'll let you control the air conditioning in your own room.
Ooh, that's some control.
You guys I'm so excited about this. Next week, me and Miles, Max and Christina are going to Cancun to celebrate
Yes.
my and Max's birthday. And we have rooms that we can have like a pool that we can swim between our rooms.
Oh, nice.
It's a balcony pool, and I
So
am
wait,
absolutely
Y'all
gonna
share
like.
the pool?
Yeah,
it's
they're
like a
connected by a
private
pool balcony.
so we can swim between. We got this it was like
Crazy cool
75% off or something on hotels.com.
Nice.
And I was just like, I've never done like a 5-star experience kind
Same.
of like all-inclusive thing before. And going with Max, I think it's going to be a real experience.
I'm waiting for like 10 a.m. He's just gonna be like the iceberg, just rolling, just like, hey.
I hope
Dun, 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 dun.
I just hope he brings a kimono. Like that's just something that I don't want to like put it in his mind. I hope he does it organically, and that I just get that wish fulfilled.
I feel like he will acquire a sombrero at some
Yes.
point.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
100%. Yes.
Is that you seeing the future? Are you back in 2019?
future Mexican Becca can see Max?
I'm super stoked. Yeah, I've never been to like vacation Mexico. I've never done like fancy pants resort things. So
Yeah.
I'm so jazzed.
Usually I'm all about like an adventuring holiday, like backpacking or something like that. And it's like a pool in a book has been calling my name. I'm like, am I old? I'm cool with it. I don't mind.
I only went to Cancun once, and I stayed in a similar setup where, like, I walked in. I didn't know that was a thing. I walked into my room, and I walked out into the patio, except this one wasn't connected. It was like its own pool on the balcony.
Yes.
Yo.
And I was like, what the fuck is this?
When she told me, she was like, yeah, it's all inclusive. And I was like, I've never known what that means exactly. She's like, it means you don't have to pay for food or drink. And I was like, for like how long? Like, do you get like a night? Like, you
like
get like
a
a meal a day?
window?
She goes, no, you don't have to pay for any of it. I was like, no, that can't possibly be true because I'm going to ruin them if that's the case.
This
So,
one
yeah.
has a disco, and I hope it's like really cheesy.
I didn't know.
They
about
always
this.
are.
Oh,
They're
you should
never
book-
good.
What's his name? You should book your lookalike to be there to perform.
Wait, is he Mexican or Costa Rican?
I don't remember.
Spanish. Hang on.
And I don't want to
No, I
offend
can't- I'm not allowed to
anyone.
do
so
that.
I'm not going to take a shot in the dark.
Wait, I think I have his Twitter still pulled up.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm super excited. It'll probably be like the fanciest place I've ever stayed. Which is
Yeah, he's Mexican.
a different situation than what happened when I was in Florida.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
So this has nothing to do with Full Sail, and it's not their fault. It's someone else's fault at this company whose name I won't say. He's not there. I'm
not
just
here,
shouting and
yeah.
hoping that he knows.
Say it.
No, I'm not going to talk about. Oh, I was so close to doing it. No.
Nearly got you there.
So
Who are you
we
talking about? Sorry.
were going to stay. So like Adam Kovic and like Greg Miller, they were all staying at this like really cool hotel. And the person that arranged our travel was like, you know what? this place is just a little bit farther away and a little bit cheaper.
A little bit cheaper or a lot cheaper?
Probably a lot cheaper. Okay. I was like, and you know what? It seems really cool. It's like this old historic
I
hotel.
thought that person had stayed there and was like, you guys gotta check it out.
Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
Interesting.
So we went to this place, and to that person's credit, if you were to look online at this place, it would look, I don't know if I should say the name of it. I'll leave that to you if you think I should say it or not.
Why don't you type it there and I'll look it up?
Absolutely. It looked kind of cool. Again, it's in like a very historic part of Florida. And it was an old ass building. It was a flop house, where essentially people working on the railroad would just go, and once they were done working on the railroad, they would walk into these rooms and just flop down in their cot and just go to sleep. So there's a lot of history there, and we were joking that it was haunted and shit, which I love. I believe that should be it.
Thank you.
So
it sounds fancy.
Oh wait, that can't be it? That was way too much beautiful water. If it looks like an old haunted house, that's the place. So we got there at 1 a.m, and we all got out of our cars. We're really tired. Next to this place was a child's toy store, and in the front of it, in their front window, was an adult-sized rabbit suit just standing there. So that was our greeting. Now, Chris Kokinas had gotten there before myself, Drew, Nadia, and Jordan, and he had already met the staff there and had gone up to his room.
Was it like that?
Yep. That's it. So we get out of the car again, 1 a.m, and we hear, "Hey, you guys must be Jordan, Nadia, Drew, and Miles." And we look over, and there's this.
It's the rabbit.
Chipper. No. Oh, fuck. And I'd be like, "Take me home. Sorry, Full Sail. Thanks, but no thanks." No. So there's this chipper dude standing out there, and he's like, "Yeah, I met your friend Chris. He came in a few hours earlier. I've been waiting for you guys to get in. How was the trip?" And we're like, "Good." Yeah. He's like, "Well, come on in." We go in, and it kind of looks like the lobby looks like what I imagine just the house from Clue, the board game, would look like if it was all just smushed into one room. That's it.
Looks like Meow Wolf.
It does.
So we go in, and smooth jazz is playing, and it becomes immediately apparent that this is the only guy on staff that's here at this hour, and he's just been devoid of any human contact. He's like, "Hi, yeah," he's asked us all these questions. "I hear you work for a production company. What's that like? That's cool." Very nice dude. But just a lot, because we're really tired. And the guy gives us our keys, and they're actual old. This was actually, I thought was cool. It's an old ass brass key. We go up the staircase, and then there's just essentially 2 long ass hallways, and we're all tired. We're like, "Okay, I'll see you in the morning. Yeah, good night." I go into my room, and I take an immediate survey of what's going on here. There's a bed with this old wooden bed frame that probably looks like it's from, I don't know, the 12th century. And then there's a computer monitor on a dresser drawer that I guess was the TV. There was an old wicker chair. Yeah, it was it kind of just looked like your basics. Yeah. And then there was wooden doors out to one long extended balcony that all the rooms shared. And there was tiny porcelain bathroom. And there was your standard things. There was a Bible, there was the TV remote, and then there was earplugs, which I thought was really weird. But I was like, whatever, I'm really fucking tired. And as I'm unpacking my stuff, we're all talking in our group Slack thread. And we're all joking about "Oh, watch out for ghosts. Ooh, it's kind of spooky. You can hear things through the walls," which you could. And at one point, Nadia was like, "Oh, I found an ant in my bed. Be careful. It might get you." And I was like, "Haha, Nadia, you're hilarious." And then I was getting ready to get in my bed, and I see this little wormy thing. And I was like, "Oh, gross." Flick that thing away. And I see another one, and this one has wings. I'm like, "Wow, what is this interesting creature?" "Oh, fuck you too. Flick that away." And then I pulled back the sheets, and there was a bunch of these motherfuckers and a bunch of shedded wings all over my bed.
Ew.
And I was
How much is a bunch?
I'd say about 10.
Were they maggots?
We're gonna get there. So I text everybody. I'm like, "Hey, I have worm creatures in my bed," and everyone's like, "Ha ha ha." "Wait, really?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go downstairs and figure this out." So I go down the stairs. I'm scared by a spooky painting. And the guy's like, "Hey, what's going on? Did you need some water?" Because they had this whole thing, when you go in, you get the Wi-Fi password. It's also, you can come down for water at any time.
Ooh.
I was like, "Oh, wow."
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah. And I was like, "No, actually, good on the H2O sitch. There's some bugs in my bed, They're not bed bugs,
They're
but
just
they
like,
are bugs in the bed. And he was like, oh, that doesn't sound good, does it? And I was like, no. Do you have another room? And he's like, oh, yeah, of course. We have one other room across the hall. Let me come up and
But
take a
that one's
look.
haunted.
And I'm like, cool, great. So he comes up and he picks one up and he goes, oh, these are termites. Well, that shouldn't be there. I'm like, yeah. He goes, no, we paid a lot of money last week to get rid of these things. I'm so sorry.
There's a lot of wood in this hotel.
It's like all
like
wood,
all
dude.
wood,
It is
yeah.
100% wood. And so I'm like, I'm not too angry. It's like he didn't put the bugs there, but I'm also like, fuck this. Please give me another room. So we go across the hall. We open up the room. We check this room. This room seems chill. She's like, I'm so sorry about that. I'm like, it's fine. At this point, it's going on 2 a.m. and I have to be at a work thing in the morning. Thank you very much. Have a good night. So I move all my stuff out of the old room. We go into the new room. I'm unpacking everything. I'm brushing the teeth, all that stuff. And the whole time now, I keep thinking like I feel things on me. I
Yeah.
get that way about like swarmy bugs.
I feel like I
just
have
can't
something
do
on me right now.
Yeah,
just,
no, I hate it. But I'm like, finally, it's fine. I'm just gonna Sleepy Town Junction. Let's go. Turn out the lights. I get in the bed, and then I feel something in my face, and I slap it away. I turn the light. One of these fucking termites is crawling again, and I have video of this too. There's like 2 or 3 crawling on the pillow, and I don't know what to do because there's no other rooms at this point. I take off all the sheets. I kill all the bugs I can. I'm like shaking the headboard, trying to figure out where these things are coming from. I look under the bed. I don't know what's up. And I'm so miserable. I just tell myself, just pretend you're camping. People have slept in worse conditions than this. You'll be fine. Just go the fuck to sleep. It's like 2:30. I finally just deal with it. I close my eyes. I lay my head down. And then the loudest fucking train horn in the goddamn world blares
God.
outside my window. Turns out, historic train goes right by.
The railroad
right by
workers.
The railroad workers that use the place as the flop house. And suddenly I'm like, earplugs. There's earplugs in every single room. And the guy had apparently told Drew, oh, yeah, there's a midnight train that comes through. Sorry about
Just
that.
to Georgia?
And Drew's like, yeah. Drew was like, oh, well, it's 1:30, so that'll be fine. But it wasn't fine because that train came by at 2:30 and at 4:30 and at 6:30 and at 8:30. And that next morning, we all got out and like crawled from our holes. And Drew and I had a conversation that we were like, you know, this whole trip, it only lasted like 2 days. It felt like we were there for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like there was both he and I separately had a moment, we talked about it at breakfast, where we wondered if we died on the plane and gone to hell. Because there was this weird thing where Drew like couldn't find his pants and then was like positive that they just disappeared and that there was some sort like he was being punished for something. And he genuinely thought he'd gone to hell and I thought I'd gone to hell. It was a weird trip, you guys.
The moon ghosts took his pants.
The moon ghost took Drew's pants and we all went to hell. Don't go to Park Plaza in Florida. There, I said it. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. The next day, too, I went down.
I was gonna say, did you change rooms the next day? Was there a different room?
Well, remember, there were no more rooms. I had the last one because apparently everybody wants to come to this place. The next morning, I was downstairs waiting to like escape and go get coffee, and the day shift is now there. And they're like, "Well, I don't understand. Someone's supposed to be in room 32. Why is no one there?" And I catch wind of this. I go, "Hey, I was in room 32 until I got moved because there were termites in the bed." And the guy goes, "Oh, termites. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You know, we just started dealing with that yesterday." And in my mind, I'm like, bull fucking shit. You're a cheery homeboy last night. How did you? You sprayed for these last week, motherfucker. And the guy had the gall to be like, we're so sorry. We're so sorry. Now, we do still have you staying for another 2 nights. And I just looked at him and was like, not if I can help it. And they kind of just gave me the smile of like, yeah, it was worth a shot trying if we should ask though. Yeah.
Yeah, that
We
makes
went to
sense.
Doubletree and then I learned Doubletree gives you cookies.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
the rest of the trip was great. Doubletree fucking rules.
The first
You're a
couple.
cheap date, Miles. Just these
But
cookies.
look, man, it's not just any cookies. They're chocolate chip oatmeal cookies, which are my favorite kind of cookie.
Yeah, they're good.
The first couple of PAXs that we went to, we would stay at a Doubletree that was kind of a little further away from the Maiden Bower, but we would stay there because I would get drunk and then demand cookies from the front desk in the middle of the night.
When we got
I
there,
would go down and be like, cookies.
When we got there, Drew demanded 3 cookies. He was like, I want 3.
That's such a Drew move. Cookies, please.
He was like, I know who I am. I know what I want.
Give me the cookies.
Overall, though, it was a good trip. Saved by the Doubletree in full sale.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's about time to wrap this up.
All right.
So I want to thank my guests for joining us this week.
Yeah, thanks
Thank everyone for
having me.
watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace. Bye. Hey, everyone, did you like this video? Do you want to hear more insane ramblings about Apple and movies and whatever else is going on? You should click on the videos down below. You can like this video, which I would greatly appreciate. I think Miles and everyone else on the podcast would appreciate
Share
it.
it with your
more.
friends.
Share it and subscribe to this channel. Why not?
Thanks. We love you. Yeah.